We needed it more than you. Kyle laughed, the sound slicing across the room, like he hadn't just emptied $120,000 from my bank account. My name is Rebecca Mitchell. I'm 34 years old, and I built my boutique from the ground up. That money represented my dream, my future, everything I'd worked for. And my own brother-in-law stole it. He didn't hesitate, didn't blink, just gave me that smug smile. But he forgot one important thing. I might be family, but I don't play fair. I met his gaze and said, "Then I hope you're ready for what's coming next." 2 hours later, police were breaking through the front door. Have you ever been stabbed in the back by your own family? Share it in the comments, and if you believe karma always comes home, make sure to like and subscribe. I grew up in Portland, the dependable older daughter. My parents owned a small hardware shop. As my younger sister, Allison, spent her teenage years obsessing over parties and popularity, I was tucking away every paycheck from my summer jobs. After college, I slogged through 3 years at a corporate retail chain before finally launching Mitchell Designs, my own clothing boutique built around sustainability and local makers. I left behind my stable paycheck with only $5,000 saved and nothing but ambition to carry me. The first couple of years nearly wore me down. 18-hour days, ramen for dinner, every cent reinvested into the business. I sacrificed everything personal just to give my boutique a chance to survive. Then tragedy struck. A drunk driver ran a red light. Both of my parents were killed. The grief split me open. I buried myself in work. Allison, meanwhile, quit college and drifted from job to job. When the estate settled, each of us inherited $75,000. I poured mine into Mitchell Designs. And Allison, she met Kyle at a casino. 6 months later, she married him. I hated him from the start. Slick hair, flashy watch, smooth voice that dripped with arrogance. At their wedding, he sneered, "Your sister's little shop is cute, but the real money's in investments." Kyle dominated every room he walked into. And Allison, she didn't stay the same. She shrank, quieter, timid, always watching his face before she spoke. She stopped calling. When I did see her, her smile was there, but her eyes were empty. Then came the family reunion. The lake house, passed down for generations, was supposed to feel safe. By then, I just secured a second location for my store, and the $120,000 sitting in my account was reserved for its launch. 5 years of sweat, sacrifice, and sheer grit had finally paid off. What I didn't know was that the people I called family were already plotting to steal it all. I arrived Friday afternoon, heart soaring with hope. Business was thriving, my vendor loan had cleared, and the expansion was real. Cousin Emma met me at the dock, smiling, but her words dropped low. "Allison and Kyle got here earlier. Just be ready." Through the screen door, I heard Kyle before I saw him, boasting, loud, bragging about some real estate flip guaranteed to double anyone's money. Allison hugged me quickly, calling me Becca like old times, but her eyes flicked toward Kyle, nervous. Kyle lifted his whiskey glass at me. "The entrepreneur arrives," he smirked. "Still managing to sell enough dresses to keep the lights on?" I forced a tight smile. "Actually, we're expanding. Just signed the lease downtown." He snorted. "In this economy?" That night, I slipped to my room to check emails, and I noticed it immediately. My laptop wasn't where I'd left it. The charger plugged into a different port. Subtle but wrong. My chest tightened. I opened the lid. Browser history, perfectly clean. Too clean. Then came the notification. Failed login attempt. An unrecognized device had tried to get into my account in the last hour, while I've been downstairs helping the kids. My stomach dropped. I scrambled, reset every password, added two-factor authentication, locked everything away. But the unease gnawed at me. The very next morning, I woke to chaos. Claire, my business partner, called in a frenzy. Rebecca, the supplier. The payment bounced. It flagged insufficient funds. My heart shot into my throat as I launched my banking app. Hands trembling. Checking? 0. Savings? 0. Business account? 0. All of it gone. $120,000. Erased in a single night. Shifted into some account I didn't know. Not a system error. not some faceless hack. This was done by someone inside these walls, someone who knew exactly how to strike. And there sat my sister's husband at the kitchen table, sipping coffee like it was any other morning. When I walked in pale as a ghost, the chatter abruptly died. "My money's gone," I said, my voice hollow. "All of it." Uncle Robert pushed back his chair, stunned. "Gone? What are you talking about?" I raised my phone. The screen glared back, proof that over $120,000 had been siphoned out overnight into a stranger's account. Gasps rippled, little murmurs. Emma rushed instantly to my side. Two Faces, though, gave nothing away. Allison stared into her mug, and Kyle leaned back, arms folded, expression hard to read. "Did you call the bank?" Emma whispered. I did, on speaker so everyone could hear. The customer service voice was monotone, almost sterile. "Yes, Ms. Mitchell. The transfers began at 11:42 p.m. and ended around 4:15 a.m. Performed from a known device in your location." The words iced over the room. They entered your password and security questions correctly. The blow landed heavy. This wasn't anonymous theft. It was betrayal. Personal. Calculated. Someone had used my computer, my network, my credentials. I locked eyes on Kyle. "You were near my laptop yesterday. Were you in my room?" Allison shot back instantly, defensive. "Are you accusing my husband?" Kyle smiled, slow and deliberate. "She's paranoid. Maybe her partner mishandled the cash." "Then show us your bank statements," I snapped. "If you're so solid financially." His smirk faltered, just enough to be noticed. "I don't owe you proof of anything." "Oh, really?" I stepped in closer. "Because if you were innocent, you'd be yelling louder than anyone here." Allison's hands shook. She avoided my gaze. Kyle pulled her tighter to his side like she was on a leash. And then he said it, calm, smug, chilling. "We needed it more than you." The kitchen erupted. Uncle Robert roared in anger. Emma gasped sharply. Aunt Patricia broke into sobs. I didn't flinch. My bag was already in my hand. "Then you won't mind what happens next," I said, voice sharp as steel. The second I grabbed my phone, Kyle lunged. "You're not calling the police," he snapped, trying to seize my wrist. Uncle Robert lunged between us. Firm. "Back off, Kyle." Emma yanked me behind her. Allison recoiled, pale, not just nervous, but petrified. "Allison," I said softly, "what's really going on?" She opened her mouth, but Kyle cut her off. "We're done here. Grab your things." I said we're leaving. "You're not going anywhere until I get back every cent," I shot back. "Or I swear I'll see you in handcuffs before you touch the driveway." Kyle laughed. "Good luck. The cash is gone. Hidden, buried. You won't track it down." That was the moment the thunderous crash shook the house. The front door blasted open. Voices yelled, "Police." Nobody moved. Two officers in uniform stormed in, and right behind them a woman in plain clothes held up her badge. "Rebecca Mitchell?" she asked. I gave a small nod. "I'm Detective Harmon with Portland PD. We were alerted to fraudulent activity tied to your accounts." Kyle's face drained of color. "This has to be some mistake." She didn't let him finish. "We have solid evidence from your bank's cyber team. Transfers, device fingerprints, and yes, your face, Mr. Henderson." Kyle's jaw fell open, but silence was all that came out. I reached for my phone. "After I had a hacking scare last year, I installed security tracking," I explained. "It snaps photos during logins, records keystrokes, saves full access logs." I handed the phone to Harmon. "Here, see for yourself." Crystal clear images of Kyle on my laptop filled the screen. Timestamps, IP matches, every breadcrumb leading straight to him. His facade crumbled. "You set me up." I met his eyes, steady and unshaken. "No," I defended myself. "That's not the same thing." The officers locked cuffs around his wrists. He thrashed, shouting at Allison. "Don't fool yourself. Without me, you're nothing." She sank her fear, stepped forward, voice trembling but resolute. "No, Kyle. To you, I was nothing. Without you, I finally get to be me again." Detective Harmon turned toward me. "With this much evidence, the bank should be able to recover the majority of your funds. And more importantly, he won't be able to harm anyone else." For the first time in days, My chest loosened. It wasn't the end of the war, but the first battle was mine. 30 days later, I stood inside the warm glow of my second boutique. Open, thriving, safe. Mitchell Designs had endured, not because of chance, but because I trusted myself, prepared, and refused to let betrayal shape my story. The bank restored 97% of what was stolen, with fraud protection covering the rest. But the true victory wasn't financial. It was Allison. She moved into my place, filed her divorce papers, and registered for school again. The dark circles under her eyes are easing. She's laughing now, baking again, healing. Last night, while we chopped vegetables side by side, just like we used to with Mom, she told me softly, "Becca, you were brave enough to defend the life you built. I want to be brave enough to rebuild my own." And she is. Kyle pleaded guilty to fraud, coercion, and identity theft. He'll serve years behind bars. But his hold over us ended the instant Allison found her voice and said, "I'm finished living in fear." Last weekend, we went back to the lake house, not for nostalgia, but to begin again. Together, we painted, repaired, and reclaimed the space that nearly destroyed us. This time we made a vow. Real family protects. You don't manipulate the ones you love. If you've ever had to break ties with the toxic in order to safeguard your peace, I recognize you. If you've ever reached the point where you finally said, "Enough, I stand with you." And if you're still summoning that courage, take some of mine. Because blood alone never gives anyone the right to shatter you.